Hello and welcome to TA for Traders. It's Monday the 2nd of October. I'm Nigel Croft. In this video we'll be looking at 4 stocks. As usual, 2 from the UK and 2 from the US. In the UK we'll be looking at Asos, which is the code ASC. The online retailer could look very interesting technically if it stays higher. There's resistance to be overcome, but then it could look very good for a move to a new high ground. We'll then look at Baillie Gifford Japan Trust. BGFD is the code there. They've come out with figures. That's caused a consolidation today, but overall it still looks okay. We'll then look at 2 US stocks, Wyndham, which is the code WYN, and Micron Technology, which is the code MU. Let's look at those charts. So let's start with Asos, code ASC. Here we have the weekly, so each candle represents 1 week's trade, and you can see that we bounced 3 weeks ago from the rising 50-week moving average, which was good. However, we haven't broken the resistance that was seen before then, which goes up to about 60.50. It's good that we've moved back above the 20-week moving average and that the RSI seems to have broken its downtrend as well, but we do need to break that resistance. On momentum, you can see that we have broken into positive momentum. The RSI now at 54.97, but not quite showing positive momentum from the MACD, which are still tracking downwards. On the daily, here you can see that the moving averages are all moving back up, which is positive. Again, you can see the resistance and also the 20 being below the 50. I don't think we'll break the resistance until we get a golden cross on the 20 crossing the 50, which will be towards the end of this week, but that could then give the impetus and the momentum to break the resistance, and if that happens I would expect to move up towards the next resistance level at £64. Here there is solid positive momentum indicated from both the RSI and MACD, with the RSI in an uptrend now at 59.85 and the MACD, which did signal a buy on the 22nd of September, now the short term tracking above 0 and above the long term, which is indicative of solid upside momentum. On the 4 hour, not a brilliant chart. So you can see that we're towards the upper boundary of the trading range, but I've also already mentioned that resistance. The RSI and MACD are both positive there, but it's not a clear chart, the 4 hour at the moment on Asos. Moving on to Baillie Gifford Japan Trust, you can see it's solidly in an uptrend. The lower boundary of that trend is at the 20-week moving average at 688. However, you can see that we had a non-confirmation on the weekly with the move last week, the RSI being well below the high that was on the high in August, so a non-confirmation there, and likewise the MACD is just flashing a sell as the short term comes below the longer term. So momentum problems at the high level. I would expect to move back to the lower boundary of the uptrend at that 20-week moving average. On the daily, you can see the pullback today. You can see that we've on the RSI we've broken down. It is still above 50. The MACD short term still above the longer term, but if the drift continues, I would see the £7 and that rising 50-day is the key. That's at 697. So the key supports on this Baillie Gifford are at that level, 697 and then 688. And below there you can see that the next support is down at 666 and then 660. But be aware, we're still okay, as I said, on the weekly above the 20 week. So at the moment, if you've got a hold in, you stay with it until there's a confirmation of that break. And on the 4 hour, perhaps here trying to create a downtrend, we need to break above 708 for that to break that pattern. Again, the moving averages are seen key. We're finding support at the 20. The 50 has rolled down. On the RSI, getting mixed signals. The RSI is moving sideways, 54.57. And the MACD also sideways around the 0 level. On Wyndham worldwide in the States, you can see that we did pull back to the 20 week and now we're accelerating upwards. Looks like we're going to break into new high ground. The RSI is picking up again, now at 66.3. And the MACD are narrowing the differential. Looks like the short term is going to move above the long term very soon. On the daily, you can see that there is slight resistance at the present level, but a break above 106 would see us in new high ground, and that should be positive. You can see we did have a golden cross on the 26th of September as the 20 crossed the 50. That should give a push up. Perhaps we're slightly overextended away from the moving averages at the moment, so maybe another couple of days consolidation, but to me does look like we are going to break into new high ground, and that's going to be because of this solid momentum. You can see the RSI in a solid uptrend, and you can see the likewise the MACD all moving up, now above 0 in a solid uptrend. Short term above longer term, indicative of upside momentum. On the 4 hour, looks very similar. We've just had the 20 cross the 200 and the 50 cross the 200 moving averages, which is positive, and that should give the impetus to hopefully break the resistance. RSI 66.97 and the MACD tracking well above 0. Okay, moving on to the last stock of today, that's Micron Technology. Had a very good move last week. You can see it spiking into new high ground. This is the weekly, so each candle represents 1 week. I would say it's slightly overextended away from the moving averages and slightly overbought. The RSI is at 76, but that's very indicative of the positive momentum as well. So there may be a consolidation, but if there is, it should prove a buying opportunity. If the stock pulls back, they'll find support below the 36 level. That will have meant that the moving averages have caught up and would be a very good entry point. If you've got the stock, you maybe top out a bit here. Looking to pick it back up, as I said, below the 36. If you haven't got it, you could do a short-term trade to the downside. But on the daily picture, you can see we've had the break. It was very positive that it came from the 20-day. The 20 had created a golden cross with the 50 on the 6th of September. Again, was slightly overextended away from the moving averages, but we have got very solid momentum from the RSI and the MACD. Keep your eye on that. The RSI could be about to create a double top. As I said, any pullback is a buying opportunity around about the 36 level. And on the 4 hour, again, the moving averages, which were very all together on the 23rd of August, The stock then moved forward and all the moving averages tracked up. Again, we're slightly overextended. Again, we're likely to get a double top on the RSI, but it is still showing positive momentum. So many thanks for watching this video. I went through the stocks very quickly as usual. I hope you found it of interest. We looked at Asos in the UK, Bailey Gifford Japan Trust in the UK, and then in the US, Wyndham and Micron Technology. Please remember, these videos are for information only and are my opinions, and they're not an investment recommendation.